Welcome back to CEO Money. I'm Michael Yorba, your host, with Mervyn Price.
Hello there, Michael. Nice to be here.
And Andrew Kernan.
Thank you, Michael.
All right, my pleasure. Our guest today, Kent Wilson, CEO, Alpine 4 Technologies. We've been talking about the diverse aspects to Alpine 4, but Andrew has got a series of questions for you, Kent, and I'd like to open up with Andrew starting it off.
Hi, Ken. I wanted to follow up with just some questions on the tech side. You had mentioned that your acquisition of Lattice came with some patents. Can you talk a little bit about any proprietary IP you've developed or acquired through some of these acquisitions?
Yeah, I really can't speak to the Lattice transaction right now due to some of the regulations that we have set, not regulations, but covenants that we have in our LOI with them. But I can talk to you about some of the other patents that Alpine has. We own two, in our subsidiary Altia, our connected car technology subsidiary, we own two patents, and both of them are around an aftermarket product we have called Brake Active. And Brake Active is a product that causes the third brake light to pulse when you step on the brake light. It's a relatively new product for us, but we did file two patents on that last year, which we believe will allow us to kind of stay ahead of the competition in that, primarily because it uses a smart chip, if you will, that can sense various different types of brake lights. Some manufacturers use old bulbs. New ones are going to LED arrays. We have basically a microprocessor that can sense the type of output that is being placed on the brake light, and we can subsequently read any type of brake light because of that. So a lot of our competitors don't use that technology, or should say none of them to our knowledge use that. And so they're going to be kind of blocked, if you will, from being able to go out and get onto new models that are using some of the later types of lighting arrays. So we feel pretty comfortable that that product is uniquely positioned to gain some serious traction over the next 24 months because of those patents.
I see you're very active in the auto area. This is Mervyn. Tell us about Sixth Sense Auto, because there's a lot of talk about autonomous cars coming along now, and then I'm just looking at Sixth Sense Auto. Tell us all about that. What is it?
Yeah, I mean, that industry, the autonomous car industry, is huge with Mobileye and Intel and all those companies that are really getting into the heavy autonomous driving applications. We don't do that, but we hold a key component behind that. Our Sixth Sense technology is really driven around the dealership model, which is pretty unique and very profitable. I mean, we sell to one customer who sells our product to thousands, if not tens of thousands every year. And so it's a one-to-many model. But Sixth Sense Auto really is a vehicle knowledge system. So for the dealership, it allows them to track their inventory on the lot. For a sales rep, if you come on the lot and you say, a customer comes up to them and says, "Hey, I want to see this stock number," or "I'd like to see a Ford F-150 black with this package." He can pull an app out on his phone, pull up all the cars that fit that criterion, and it will take them to be able to show them where they're at in the lot. We have some dealerships that have 9 lots. It becomes a huge value-added resource for them. But simultaneously, having to go in the dealership, take the information down on the customer, that wastes about a half hour. Our product allows them to put that information via an app. They can scan a driver's license right there at the car, unlock the car, start the car, and take the customer on a test drive. Subsequently, the dealership management knows that this is going on and can, track and get visibility to the success of it. So we had, and I don't want to bump up against the time thing again, but we had 4 overarching goals for this product. It had to be a required tool of the dealership. It had to be extremely easy to use. It had to deliver a lot of information to the front lines, meaning the sales reps. And it had to make the car buying process more pleasant and easier. And we knew if we did all 4 of those that we would have a real winner. And we did. And we now are accomplishing that. We signed a pretty large pilot program with a very large automotive group out of Arizona. We're in negotiations with some of the largest automobile dealerships in the country, including AutoNation. And, I'm not saying that we got that contract, but I'm telling you we are in the mix with talking about deploying our product with them. And we feel that automotive division, Altia, with its product 6 Sense Auto, is poised for substantial growth over the next 12 to 18 months.
Would it be true, Ken, to say Alpine 4 Technologies is a OTC publicly traded company that has captured technology strategic subsidiaries?
That is correct.
Talk about how many subsidiaries do you carry out now? How many companies make up Alpine 4?
We have 3 subsidiaries that make up Alpine. We just signed an LOI on a 4th. We're getting ready to announce a few other acquisitions. I can tell you that by the end of the year, we should have annualized revenue between $35 million and $71 million. And that's a big range, but it depends on if we're able to get another one of our acquisitions in or not. And so that's kind of where we're headed. And we are planning on doing an uplisting here, probably in the second quarter of 2018, to either the NASDAQ or the New York Stock Exchange.
That is very exciting.
Oh, this is all really exciting, Ken. I'm amazed at how many vertical, different industries you're in. And I'm someone who likes to combine tech, so I really like the idea of how some of your different tech companies can support each other, like the electronic assembly. On your site, you also mentioned open source. How did that play a part in your business and your tech development?
Well, that's more of a play on words. So we're really trying to say that we have an open approach to. Let me backtrack. We have a saying at Alpine called SIDE: Synergistic Innovation Drives Excellence. So we do a couple things at Alpine 4 that sets us apart and makes us unique. We want our subsidiaries to have the independence of being, a subsidiary, but also the ability to collaborate and solve openly between the subsidiaries common problems. I have, as a turnaround consultant, I've been in over 60-plus businesses over the last 15 years. And this is prior to my life as CEO here. But I can tell you that most industries operate in a box, and you'd be amazed how many common problems are solved by looking to other industries. And we've already had that going on in Alpine with Horizon Well Testing, which, by the way, we've now rebranded as Venture West Energy Services. So if you hear me say Venture West, that's who I'm referring to. But just solving their asset problem. That was a problem that had been primarily overlooked in their industry, and we were able to solve it with about 90 days of engineering and fairly minimal costs. And so that's the onus of Alpine. We look for our subsidiaries to truly innovate together, and an open source, we're referring to not software, but really an open source ability to use the other collective thought and problem solving together.
And so what's next for Alpine 4?
I apologize, you broke up a little bit. I couldn't hear that.
I said, what's next for Alpine 4? Where do you see this all going?
Yeah, Alpine 4, we will continue our growth pattern either organically at the subsidiary level and through acquisition. Our biggest goal, so we have 4 or 5 overarching goals for 2017 and 2018. We talked a little bit about our optimization bucket and our asset producing bucket. My goal for 2017 is to move QCA and Venture West out of the optimization buckets into the asset producing bucket. But subsequently, we have a goal, but when we do move them from the optimization bucket to the asset producing bucket, we predict that Alpine 4 will be a truly net profitable business. If you're a private business, operating net profit, you're usually trying to minimize your tax exposure, so you're taking every depreciation opportunity that you can. But being public, it's different. So we really want to be a true net profitable business, and we're very close to doing that. That was one of the goals we set out in 2017. We feel by the fourth quarter, maybe the first quarter of next year, but usually probably the fourth quarter this year, that we will be truly net profitable. That's a big deal, and it's a big milestone as being a public company. And so we're trying to put all the cards on the table and the resources to be able to do that and do it correctly. So one of the other goals is obviously executing on our acquisition strategy. We announced the Lattice acquisition. That will be wrapping up, we hope, by the end of the year. They are also another publicly traded company, so we have a couple extra steps to go through to be able to acquire them that we're going to require SEC approval. But we have 2 other LOIs that we've entered to acquire other businesses. We're currently doing our due diligence on them. Once they complete due diligence, we'll be announcing those. And, like I said, those are ones that we know we'll close 1, possibly 2 of them by the end of the year.
Andrew?
And
excuse me, Kent, I'm sorry about that. We've got to close for now. I hate to bump up against this window, but it's been a fascinating interview with you. Thank you for being on the show.
Kent, that was marvelous. Thank you.
All right, Kent Wilson, CEO, Alpine 4 Technologies, Alpine4, the number 4.com. You've been listening to CEO Money with Andrew Kernan, Michael Yorba, and Mervyn Price. Thanks for joining. We'll be back again tomorrow with more great content.
Thank you for listening to CEO Money. If you would like to be a guest on our show or know someone who should be on our show, please contact us at info@wfn1.com or our website, wfn1.com. If you would like to reach any of our guests, please visit us at wfn1.com. Join us on Twitter at WFN Live or our Facebook page at WFN Live. We will be back tomorrow with more great interviews and ahead-of-the-curve information you just can't get anywhere else.
CEO Money is sponsored by WF News 1 Incorporated. Views and opinions heard on CEO Money are not necessarily the opinion of this station or its management. Material on this program is intended for general information only and should not be taken as specific investment, tax, or legal advice.